E aí, meu povo, bem-vindo a mais um episódio do Inédita América. A gente tá aqui hoje num modelo diferente, a gente vai falar um pouquinho com a Angelika, que eu já vou apresentar ela completamente pra vocês. Mas ela é uma missionária e tá aqui pra falar um pouco mais sobre a história dela. E hoje, em especial, a gente vai fazer um episódio em inglês. Então, se você não tá confortável com isso, eu provavelmente vou lançar uma versão dublada depois, ou essa versão vai estar legendada aqui pra você. Vai ser um prazer receber ela, então, nesse momento, gostaria de introduzir vocês. That's Angelika. She's a native from Latvia, that's right?
Latvia, yeah.
Latvia, okay. She's from the ministry Young Mission. No, whoa. Wait, it's Young with a Mission, right?
Youth with Mission.
Yeah. And since 2010, and she's married with William, that's our Brazilian, that it's right in front of us, and it's gonna be in the next episode with you guys, and in Portuguese, you're cool about it. And she's here to tell us a little bit about her experience with leadership and how she's through like many countries and how she's involved in everything that God has to her life and how she's right here, so I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about like, who are you?
Who am I? A woman first,
Yeah.
a mother of two kids, Carolina, she's 9 years old, and Eduardo is almost 4 years old. And as you said, I'm married to William. He's a Brazilian, but we live in Latvia already 10 years, maybe. Yeah, I'm a Latvian. Always had a big passion for my country. And if you don't know Latvia and that part of Baltic nations or that part of Europe, Latvia was under Soviet Union, Soviet occupation for 50 years.
Whoa.
So and only in 1991, it became independent again. So I was actually born still in Soviet Russia. I always had a big heart for Latvia. But when thinking of mission works, at first I was like, I don't want to be there. I want to go out somewhere. You know, it's nicer to be in another nation. But then God spoke to me once. He said, when you're not ready to serve or love your own nation or their own people, like until you are ready for that, you will not be able to go out of it somewhere else. So I stayed in Latvia, and I think my passion grew even bigger, not only seeing Latvians being sent out as missionaries, but also wanting to see the transformation in the nation in all the spheres of society, starting from families and ending to politics, government, and so on. So, yeah, maybe I can tell a small story of my first call or hearing of God.
Yeah. That's our actually first question about it. I mean, you told that there's a very specific history about that, and we are like honored to heard about it. And well, go ahead, tell us how did God call you? I mean, because there's a lot of people there that don't heard like the call yet. They know that we have a call for like praying and go to the 4 places of the earth and tell the history of Jesus, blah, blah, blah. But they don't have like a specific call as you probably have now. So tell us about that.
Of course, I think it established over the years even more. And I think I was a little bit over 20 years old when God reminded me of one specific moment when I was around 7 years old. You know how in school you always have to draw a picture of who you want to be when you grow up. You know, kids usually do like, I want to be a firefighter, a policeman,
Astronaut.
Yeah, astronaut. Or girls like to be like work in a preschool or with kids or in a shop. Many, I don't know, maybe they think you can eat all the sweets what are in the shop. I have no idea.
Well,
But I remember very clearly, I drew a picture of myself being a pastor. You know,
Wow.
not a regular, not maybe pastor like what many, like in Brazil, maybe it's not so common, but I grew up in a Lutheran church. Like my parents went to a Lutheran church, and the Lutheran pastor wears this black robe, like Martin Luther did, because he was, I think, a lawyer. So that's how it came as a tradition for a pastor to wear this black robe. So I remember I drew a picture of myself wearing the black robe, and I said I would like to be a pastor. At that, like, I remember my mom, I think, saw it, and she was, she just said, "Oh, nice job." But I have one older sister and two younger ones. When they saw the picture, they were kind of a little bit making fun of, sibling life. And I was like, why they're laughing? And then I kind of changed my view. I was like, because my oldest sister wanted to be a policeman. I was like, I also want to be in police. But then, like, when I was 20 years something, about 20, God reminded me this. And he's like, that's the time when I called you for a mission or for a fully dedicated life, like for reaching people, encouraging them to spread the word, or applying the Great Commission. And then I was like, yeah, as a kid, maybe I did not have yet the whole picture of how you can serve God. There are so many ways, and also being in your workplace, it also is serving God. But then I was like, yeah, that was my child's view of serving God. That's what I have been seeing. And that actually in Lutheran church, women cannot be pastors.
Really? I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so also that. But I think I don't have a really good pastoral gift, so I think I'm in the better place right now, like for my. So that's how it's been going, and maybe step by step as well. Because in the year 1999, my parents did a mission school. It's with the Youth with a Mission. There's a 6-month school. So my parents we are 4 kids in the family. They packed us up and went to other town in Latvia. They did 3 months of this intense school where they heard message of hearing God's voice, who God is, who Jesus is, who's Holy Spirit. And I think that was like briefly 9 years after the Latvia got independence back. So the training in churches was not really happening. So that's why they went to do this kind of course. And then I had this exposure of what missionary life is. And I kind of also had in heart, I would wish to come back someday.
Nice. That's like a huge privilege, right? I mean, I didn't have when I was young, I didn't have a lot of God as I know him today in my life. And I'm pretty sure that that's the reality for most people. I mean, if you're born in churches, if you're born with a parent that actually learn about the ways of God, you are a privilege. But you have this experience as like a little kid, and then they get fun of it, and it's not cool. But well, kids are mean, anyways. But then God reminds you about it. How did he remind you about it? Like, he just put in your head, he talked to you, he was in this huge experience that you had in the future, or how did he like called you again? Like, that's when I called you.
I think it built up step by step as well. Because then after my parents did this school, we went back to a normal life. They did not stay in missions. It was kind of just for them to maybe build up their Christian faith. Mm-hmm. But then some years after, they actually separated. And it was not an easy time. It was really, I had the feeling that my foundation was shaken. But because I had this strong faith maybe, or already built up relationship with God, kind of it helped me to stay afloat maybe. And also I had a very good group of Christian friends.
That's important. I mean, people don't actually realize how the 5 people that are around you actually influence your life. And I'm pretty sure that there was a stable base for you when everything else was shaking.
Yeah, I like also the thing that, Jesus is Son of God. He still had the 2 very close friends, and then all the 12.
Yeah.
Even though he being a God and human, he still needed people around him, not just being alone. So I also experienced that I had the people around me. And I remember when I went to high school, I was like really unsure what I want to do with my life. I was kind of good in many things. I like history, politics. I was good in geography, English.
Okay, we're Elon Musk. What was like,
And I invented a machine. No, not really.
yeah, okay, you're good at a lot of things.
Kind of like, I think in English they have the saying jack of all trades, like kind of
Yeah.
good in everything. So I was not really sure what I would like to study when I go to university.
A lot of possibilities.
My classmates, some went to study just because it was the pressure from the society or from the family, and they just got into university wherever they could get into. I was like, I already had also like this thought in my mind, I want to do something that brings meaning. You know, if I go to study, I want to study something that will, you know, influence something like, and also that I can enjoy, not just, you know, I do just for the money. So my actually oldest sister at that time, she was also doing this school with Youth with a Mission. We call it YWAM in short. And I went to visit her, and then I saw a little poster they had on a wall, and it was, they would run right after I finished school, Adventure Discipleship Training School. That's the school name. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to be there.
You wanted a like adventure for your
Yeah,
life
I've
and
been-
see like everything else is boring. I just know everything about it. I want to see something different.
That's why I'm married to Brazilian. It's the
Okay.
adventure for a
That was
lifetime.
a little different.
So I was sure I will gonna do it. I think we graduated maybe 75 people that year from my school. 4 of us did not go to study in university, including me, one of my very good friends who was like excellent in school, and 2 who were not doing really good. So people many times kind of not pointed finger, but they were, you know,
They're mean.
it comes this pressure of people talking. They did not go to study, you know. They should, like, they had such a good opportunity to get in the university for free and study and earn good money. Yeah, that I never was influenced by that, but it's not easy to hear that when you meet your ex-classmates and they're like, "What do you do?"
Yeah, I
I'm
was
in missions.
I was living the same experience. I mean, God called me to come here to US in a very point that I was actually studying for free in a very good university in Brazil. And last Sunday, my same classmate just graduated, and I was like, Jesus, are you seriously? Like, such a good opportunity for you to realize what God has making in your life and seeing. There's a cup story about a man that was just complaining about everything in church, and then a pastor give him a cup with water, like almost going out of the cup, and he says like, "Go around the church and give me back the cup with the same amount of water at the end of the service." And then he do it all the 1 hour service. He's going around and trying to not falling and not letting that water goes down, and at the end he gives the water cup back, and the pastor says, "There's everything over there," and he's, "Yeah, I didn't drop a single amount of water." And he asked for the man he was complaining, and he asks, "And did you realize anything that bothers you when you're looking at the cup?" And he was, "No, I did not." Because he was so focused on the cup and not letting the water went down that he didn't complain the whole service. So if you look at Jesus and if you see like you have the opportunity to look at him or not, you have the opportunity to listen to people that are laughing about you, being mean to you, or just look at the cup and drink the water that it's not going to be living your body anymore. And then you're not going to be complaining or feeling less for other people saying, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Intense. Sorry.
So I gotta been when you are living only for Jesus, you cannot like worried about money, worry about everything, but the other peoples around you, the kids with grow with you from the school, they are like doing good, making money, and living like the life and the world is living, but you are living on a different level. But there is not about money. It's about spirit. It's about Jesus. It's about everything about the after this life, not from this life, right?
There's a lot of people that actually made through life and they are rich, rich, rich. They have a lot of money, but that's all they have. At the end, they are looking at the money and saying, how that I can find meaning on it. And you find early in life that you had a purpose and God just told you that. That's a huge privilege. Again, I think Pastor Misael just talked to us about this on the last service. He says there's such things in life that only two kind of people experience. One is a missionary and the other one is a millionaire. Because a missionary can go to places and live the experience that other people don't because they're trying to make it in life and make money and not they're not called for that, and that's okay. I mean, even in the Bible, you see a lot of people that are called to put money on the ministry, and then other people to go to the ministry and leave that. And well, being here with missionaries, and that's not the first time that we are receiving people here. Uh, it's been like crazy for us because you see people that are actually living 100% for the Bible, 100% for Jesus. And how does that experience actually affect your life? Like, how do you, even by going through your history as you did right now, and people saying about your potential and everything, and you now look at your life and how it has been into now? How do you look at it? Do you feel like you accomplished something, or you feel like regret for something you are being doing or had doing in the past?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I never have regretted my choices of being in missions full time. Of course, I think the challenge with being in missions, of course, it depends the missionary organization. Like, is the because youth with a mission, within youth with a mission, you don't receive a salary. So we have to work or invite people in to support us,
Yeah.
with financial means. It's kind of like Paul lived as well. His different churches supported him. There were times that he worked a little bit and got some money. So, yeah, the way how we live is also faith-based, really faith-based. Inviting people in, people seeing what we do. Some people don't even know us and they support. But I think the challenge, because you never know, will you have enough maybe next month? And
Maybe
also for us,
tomorrow.
yeah, or tomorrow. We have experienced such, like, I think some experience like you would never experience maybe in other setting. I know that people who also earn salary, they also go through challenges and living by faith as well, because there can happen many different things. I'm not putting missionary life higher than any other. We just have a different calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the financial challenge, it's always been a bit,
A bit
when
hard.
you start to think, should I continue or
Yeah.
not? But then you see the next, after the difficult time, there comes a maybe sunlight after the rain,
Yeah.
or and the hope is building up again and faith is even stronger. Like for us, like we travel now to United States, like 2 adults and 2 kids who pay almost full ticket. We had to fly from Latvia to New York. We stayed in Pennsylvania for 6 weeks. And then it's like we had to pay for the course we did. And when you saw the amount of money you had to pay,
wow.
it was
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
we could,
Are you sure, God?
yeah, is that really you, God? Like, are you saying this?
Yeah.
Then it was like, I think the main thing for us was to pray and hear, God, is that you? Or it is just our wish to go there? And it was God, and all things came in place, I think.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. I mean, the other missionary was here. He told us about his history with his father. At 19 years old, he just had to take care of his father, and his father went to like not responding as he was before, like mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And he was with his like call. Jesus called him to go to Brazil at some point, and he was like, "How did I go there if not like my father? He's here, he needs me, and I have to go there because Jesus is calling me to go there." And he was really thinking about how can I actually know that it's God and not my will to go to some different place. And then he trusts God and he decided to go anyways. And he went, I think it was a month there or something like that. And he went all the way there to talk to one person and say one thing. And he goes back. And his dad was okay mentally and had take care of everything that he needed. And the peace went to his heart again after he go through all of this. And I always put myself in place and think, getting a plane, 16 hours of flight, go there, your father is there, like 16 hours. Just the way that you go there and just arrive, something can happen and he have to take another plane to 16 hours to go back. What can happen in 16 hours for the father not to like manage to do something? If he falls or he doesn't have the money to buy food, I don't know. I mean, there's no other level for me than a missionary. I know that it's not you saying it's me. A missionary lives in a place that I couldn't live. I couldn't. I actually couldn't. I mean, when you look at your bank account and you say God will put the money there, it's one thing. You're
It
living in this
it's
place.
really really easy. You have a lot of faith when your pockets are full.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really easy.
And even when you are here, like we live here, we work here, we do everything here, and sometimes you gotta like trust God to put the money over there and pay for everything that you leave on it. But for you guys, you literally sometimes have the money, and God says, "Well, you gotta spend the money to go to the other place, and then I'm gonna put the money on your pocket again." What? Like what? And it's not like you're going there with something that will put the money on it. It's God and God only.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot put myself in this place, and I really appreciate that on you guys because I think I was called to give the money to the ministry and not to actually go to places. Even so, I know that I'm far away from my country right now, and I'm preaching here, and I'm saying with Eduardo, we have this podcast, we go to a lot of places, but for you guys, it's totally different. I mean, it really lights the fire on us when you look at that. Anyways, sorry about all of that.
Like I can just mention, like talking about money, that's what we see in Europe a lot, especially Western Europe or these ex-Soviet countries that now people can earn a lot. They don't need faith anymore. You can do everything by yourself. Like sometimes the poorer, more miserable you are, you need more. You kind of
Yeah.
look at this hope. You want it more. But when you have everything, many times people are like, I don't need it.
Yeah. The
They
fun
don't
part
see the
here,
meaning.
the fun part here on US that you have 4 stations, 4 seasons, really well established. And at the winter, we make a lot less money than we make in summer. That's regular for pretty much everyone here, especially for immigrants that have the work outside in anyways. But it's like for church, they are the opposite. At the winter, they get more people giving, and at the summer, they don't.
Oh.
it's kind of not what you expect because it's a 10%. It's a 10% of your income. If your income grows,
Exactly what I say. It's easy to have faith with the full pocket.
yeah,
On the winter time, they need more God. They think they need more God. We need the God all the time. But the winter times, the hard times, when they are like on the churching, praying, asking. But at the summer, everybody's going to the beach, to the boat, and forgot about Jesus.
yeah,
But on the winter time, yeah,
they go back again for giving, and they are making these all promises about how they, if God puts money in their pocket, they will be faithful, but they're not faithful in the less. How they're gonna be faithful in the more when they're like overflowing. Anyways, let's not keep talking about money. I know that it's a good point of view, but there's a lot to absorb from Angelika, and I don't want to miss the time here. So you told us a lot about your life, a lot about how hard was your time when your parents unfortunately separated, and how God called you. But you live in a very specific place with very specific culture, and politics is a place that we always try to touch bases on it. How does your Christian life touch bases with politics on your point of view? Like,
Yeah. As I also said previously, I always had heart for politics. I was in school setting, I was really good in understanding the world politics and what is happening. So I think we should be involved somehow or somewhat in a level it's possible. And in Latvia, I think many churches kind of also want to step back from politics. They don't want to be involved. It's seen as dirty and not wanted or needed place. And I remember I once said that I would like to be in politics when I think I was 20 something years old. And the older person, Christian, said Christians should never go there. And that hit me really hard because I never had this thought. I never had made this division of Christians and politics or government. So I was like, why? I was like, that's a place where Christians should be in some way or different ways. So my wish is that the church is more involved in many different ways. For example, in our local church, I think every week when there's time of a prayer, the pastor leads the congregation in a prayer, and he always prays for the local government, for the parliament, and for the president. And I think even though it's a rhythmic prayer, but it's very important that we just don't pray about our own needs, but also what happens in our nation.
yeah,
And it's been sad, like the last few years in Latvia, people don't go to vote at all.
they don't vote. I mean,
It's
we're
not-
not used to. On Brazil, we are actually.
It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory to vote, and well, U.S. is the first nation that I have ever lived in. It's not mandatory, but people are very, very patriot, and they ended up doing it. There, it's not mandatory, and the people don't do it.
It's not mandatory. We have a parliament election, and then we have local government elections, what we had just this June, and then we have Euro Parliament election. And the amount of how many like voters we have or people who can vote, it's a very small percent. I think for this government election, it was under 50% who went to vote.
Wow. Okay.
And then, like, do you want
That's
to see a
like-
change or not?
yeah.
But then, of course, I also see the opposite. There are some churches where people say, go vote for that person.
Wow.
But I think we should encourage people to have a critical or thinking to distinguish themselves, because you cannot just believe what one pastor says to you.
Yeah.
You know, pastor everyone is a human. Like I make
Yeah.
mistakes, you make mistakes. We seen the big pastors. Like everyone
Yeah.
makes mistakes. Like, and you should not trust on one person's decision. You should look into Bible, like what God says. What is a godly leader?
Yeah.
Like what are the godly principles you want to see in your country?
Yeah. That's there's a church here. I talked to you a little bit before the recording starts. That they are very active, and in Washington in specific and Pacific Northwest, it's a very hard place to be a politician, especially if you are Christian and especially if you are a church. People don't like you. They they don't like the principle of Bible anyways. And in this church, they have even a little bit of extremism in some kind of ways. For example, people here voted for um, by gender bathrooms, by gender restrooms, anyways, in public places. And they were one of the first, I think, after Chicken Filet, probably, but one of the first to put a sign on it in biological men and biological women. They don't want you to think it's biological. If you want to think, that's okay, but biological, it's here. And they are always trying to be active in politician because the pastor there was a senator, I think, or a marketeer for a senator before he starts the church. He's not like when he's preaching, he's not talking about politicians, but very often he made this speeches about it on the first, like before start the preaching, he say something about it. He begins to be a little bit more when Israel starts to like the war over there, and he's like acting a lot since then. Especially, did you guys heard about the event? They were preaching and praising the Lord on the public place here, and then people will start to attack them. A
It was
couple
about 4 weeks ago,
4 weeks ago.
4 to 6 weeks ago. They have the thing that don't mess with our kids.
Yeah, they're trying to like say don't talk to our kids things that are outside biblical judgment.
Yeah, this speech was about they are trying to introduce this
Transgender
things at the
things.
schools, and they had the speeches about don't mess with our kids.
Yeah,
They are doing that speech, praying the Lord,
yeah,
and the transgender guys was
attacking actually
attacking him with the balloon with the pee.
with
Yeah, they
balloon
pee at the
with
balloon and throw
urine
it at
and
them.
yeah,
So like totally,
it was crazy.
yeah, unbelievable.
And the police was trying to keep people away from the stage because they just mounted stage and start to praise God. It wasn't like an straight attack to people, but just a sign saying don't mess with our kids.
And the mayor of Seattle, they did a speech after the event, after all the trouble, and he said the church is not gonna mess with Seattle's value. So, which values?
Yeah, they don't have any values. I mean, they're fully open to everything. I'm not gonna say anything other than that, but they're fully open to that, and they don't have any idea of like you're the parent. You should take care of your kid, and it's not the school responsibility to say what you gotta say at home. Like what does a kid with 2 years old or 3 years old or 4 years old has to be with sexuality? He doesn't have it yet. He's a young person. He doesn't have the ability or the brain to think about that. But people are starting to like put on it and say a lot of things about it. And these churches specifically are trying to like they open a school, they're trying to get the values back. It's not like they repugnate the other part, but it's like they don't talk about it. They let the parents say what they want to say.
I think that's also the part of actually of us Christians. Actually, it's not to just stand with a poster when you see something. I disagree with it, but you have to be active. Either you vote for the ones you would like to see in government who apply biblical values, or also if there's no one you step in. Christians should step more in to bring the change, or to maybe facilitate the change, or to
Yeah.
pray into the change as well. Like, as I previously already said, that we like to pray for our own needs, not so much about what is happening in the local, like, issues or the country issues, like going in the opposite spirit, praying against all these laws that are made to damage the families, damage children, their identities. I think that's where Satan really wants to point,
Yeah, I
the
think.
damage the identity, and then
Yeah, at the point they don't know who they are and who called them. They just have no voice on it. I think that's the most part of it. You don't have to be pretty active in politics. You just don't have to silence. That's all. Don't silence yourself. Like, say something. S- Have a point on it. Anyways.
like, also, like, I think a prayer, you don't need to be in a, for example, I will maybe never have a chance to be in, for example, White House,
Yeah.
or Putin's Kremlin in Moscow. Maybe in my lifetime I will never set a foot there, or maybe not even in the city. But prayer can cross the like borders and walls and that are built around. So I think we should also pray more for what is happening, to see
People
the change
are
happening.
having difficulty in praying. Like, they forgot that praying is just talking to God. You don't have to be an expert on it. You just have to sit in a place, in a quiet place, and talk to someone that is actually listening to you. Anyways, as the same point, you're a missionary leader and a woman in a family that is pretty obvious that you have a point of view, and you strongly put that out like, you say about it a lot. And how is it for you to walk through churches and countries and encounter these passive churches that don't have anything else to say other than the people are coming here, we're gonna just preach to them, and that's all right.
Like, I think it's the biggest challenge for me to see a passive church. People who come Sunday just to sit there, listen, and then go back and wait until the next Sunday. Like, also thinking of my own nation, I want to see people that they go to church to maybe be activated, maybe also a place where they can share what God has been doing throughout the week, and then to be strengthened to go into the society, to be the salt and the light wherever they are. Is it the school? Is it the government office? Or, I don't know, he's a policeman, or carpenter. Like, wherever they are, like, to apply the biblical principles and live by them, not just preach them, but also live, paying taxes, honoring the neighbor, honoring the person next to them, doing their work diligently, their best way possible.
Yeah.
So I think
It's a good example for you told, like, a construction guy, a carpenter, whatever. On Brazil, I heard that there's a company that always offers to the people they build homes to, like, put Bibles over the foundation of the house, over, actually, under. And they just offer. It's a lot of work for them because they have to, like, put a wall or the hole and put it there, and then, well, it's a lot of money spent for nothing, but they always offer. And even if people don't want it, they are always trying to, like, get your foundation, the Bible, even if it's physically like there, because they believe that it's like a prophet kind of thing. Once they're not Christian, but I put it there and they accept it, well, maybe one day something can happen, and then it's just like a spark on it. And it's a good example of how you don't need to be super active or being a like politician or pastor or whatever. You're just doing something and making it spark, and
Like
maybe something can happen after.
like maybe what comes also in my mind, I have one brother-in-law. Like my other brothers-in-law are in missions, but he's doing a regular job. One time I talked to him, I was like, have you ever had chance to maybe speak to some co-workers about Jesus or so on? He's like, not really, because he works from home. He's a programmer. But then knowing him, I know that he shows Jesus through his attitude, how he treats people, how he does his work. He's very good, he does everything well. And I think when the opportunity comes, or maybe people already question what the guy is using, why he's such a good
Why
guy.
he's different? Like,
Yeah, why
what's
is he
happening?
different? So then I believe can come opportunity, or they just observe, oh, he goes to church. There is something interesting.
I had this experience with my brother, and I always tell people over there, but it's a crazy experience. As soon as I came here, my brother was feeling like lonely because I wasn't there or something like that, and he like tried to search for me in some place. And I never was the person who preaches for him and say like a lot of God stuff for him. Even so, I was living a lot at the church and everything. But as soon as he wants to see me, he searches in the church that I was frequently on it, and he goes there in a Sunday, and he calls me as soon as he gets to the car with his wife, and he says, "Hey, I just searched for you and find God." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you find God by searching me in some place that I was all the time." Even so, I was far away from him, and it was a really good experience, and in connect a lot with a missionary from China that I heard once. He told me, at China you cannot preach, you cannot have the Bible in some places, and the farthest you can do it's give you testimony every day. And they say, well, over there it's go to the four places of earth and preach, and if you need, say something. Like, if you need, say something. Don't start by saying, start by doing it. And that's pretty much what praying means. Like, start by doing it, and then your heart's gonna guide you through the rest. Anyways, that was a teaching that I heard from a missionary a long time ago, and it became true. It was amazing in my life.
I think we expect a lot, we look forward to the heaven, when we die. But I think many times we don't realize that the process of building up the kingdom of God starts already here. What will I do? What is given to me? Or where I am at? Or whom I will meet? That builds up the kingdom as well.
Yeah.
So it will not be just there. We will be suddenly transformed, suddenly. But it's this process until it's not just a waste of time until we wait for the prize or the heavenly. But we are invited in to take part of waiting for the kingdom to come.
Just before we start this podcast, we had this comment on one of our cuts. The guy was 50 years old, and he was saying, "There's no God such as this that don't. God wouldn't be as bad as your guys saying, because he never told me about the calling that he has for me. So I'm not wasting because he never told me about it." That was him talking about a cut that we talk about calling, and we answer like, "Hey man, we have two Bibles here, and those two Bibles say the same thing. We have to go to the far places and preach. That's the calling for each and every one of us. But for sure, it's not because you're 50 years old that you're not have find your calling until now, that you don't have one. You just need to seek more God, and He will tell you what He's calling. And we are trying to say that in a good way, because that's the reality. I mean, it's not like you're late. You're just not being called yet. At some point, you probably will.
I have a friend. She's over now 75 maybe. She raised 10 kids, homeschooled all of them, and she's American. All kids grew up, and then she had to take care of husband. He was having some health issues, and when he passed, she always had this heart for missions, and then she was released to go. So it's never too late.
It's never too late.
And she enjoyed also the whole time of homeschooling. She's also a musician. They traveled around doing music with the kids and raising kids, taking care of home, taking care of her husband when he was sick. Like, she loved it and enjoyed. But when the right time came, she was, I think, over 70 already, maybe, she was able to go. And she went to Latvia, she went to different places. She's been now all around teaching and preaching and training the next generations who will go as well. So I would say it's never too late, not only to discover, but also to make the step. Because sometimes there are some obstacles that you are not able yet to go.
Well, there's one more thing that I want to talk about it. And now that you say obstacle, you live close by the war, right? And it's not I think it's the most sensible thing that we're gonna talk today, because it's a war, and I have no idea of how that affects people. But I'm pretty sure that you neither live close by enough to see how that affects people, or work with people that are in need of help or needed help at some point. So what can you tell us about that? I mean, how does the reality looks like over there?
Yeah, we are pretty close to Ukraine. You can drive maybe 15 hours, right? Well, there, if you would take a shortcut, but that's through Belarus, you don't want to go there.
I want to go there, okay.
At the moment. I think then it's faster, but maybe an hour flight, but planes are not flying now. But before, you could fly very quick to the capital of Kiev. And I think we, as Latvians, we are all really supporting Ukraine. I think we carry a lot of similar history with Ukraine. And of course, Latvia was under Soviet Russia. It's different than now Russian Federation. But at the same time, it's very similar. Mm-hmm. They haven't really... There was maybe a moment they went to this democratic side of being a country that is maybe more democratic, but I think it has went back to one dictator ruling and making decisions. So I think as soon as we in Latvia heard about what is happening, I think majority of people are like, we wish Ukraine the best. I think Latvians also have raised a lot of money for them buying drones. And interesting what they do in Latvia is, like, if they catch a drunk driver, driving a car drunk, they take away the car. The person loses their car and they send it to Ukraine for people to use it there. So when I heard about that law, I'm like, that's the best thing ever. Because drunk people should not drive.
And they need the car.
The car will not just wait in some yard until the person gets back the driving license, but it goes to serve the purpose in place where they really need.
It's not going to rust over there, right?
It will be used for wherever it's needed. Of course, like people, like Latvia shares a big border with Russia. There have been also questions about what if, what if they come in? There are many suppositions and things that people have heard from Secret Service or something. Then at one point, I'm a mother, we have kids, then you also start thinking, like, what do I want for my kids? Then also, like, I heard a message from someone saying that at this time now, those who are here, for example, church leaders or different people in leadership who are Christians, like that God is preparing these wartime leaders that are brave, that will not run away when it's difficult. And that's what we also are experiencing from our friends who are still in Ukraine. They haven't been running away. They have stayed there to serve the people in need. We have several, like from the same organization, people who serve there, and they haven't gone. Like they would have had chance to leave the country, but they stayed.
They choose to stay. Yeah, it's a really bold. I think I don't have any other word for that. I mean, it's really bold to believe in God in such a way that you choose to stay in a war just to serve people. That's my established point. I don't know if I would be able to do that. Honestly, I mean, I would have to live on it to see what I should do or not. But I really respect the people because they were faithful to God when they're peaceful times. And they were faithful to God when it wasn't peaceful times. And God has a purpose for everything, and He has a process for everything. So if He's preparing people to stay, I will pray for them to stay. If God is preparing people to leave, it's okay as well. I mean, it's not that I'm judging people who live. As you told, you have 2 kids. It's not just you anymore. And I'm okay if people don't want to be there. I don't want to be there, honestly. But it's bold. It needs really more help. I mean, I see all these people forgetting about the war. At the start, people talk about this all day and talk about this every day, every week. It was a politician, influencer, whatever, just saying about how things are hard over there. And a year after, they just forgot about it and they're not doing anything. And it feels like people don't, if they don't experience what's happening, they forget about it really quick. And they need to remember more about how people are suffering, how there's Christian people over there that could need a little bit of help from a little bit of help from people that it's like, for example, we are here, we live in a church that it's missionary and we have the privilege, but a lot of churches back in Brazil, they're so worried about what's happening around them. They forget what's happening in Ukraine or whatever other place that it's going through war. And they shouldn't. I mean, at least some kind of money, some kind of people should be getting ready to help these people. And it's such a coward from churches to not do this. Like for anything. They're not doing anything. They're not even saying anything about it.
Yeah, I think I try to do my part. I maybe some people think it's already annoying. I share on my Instagram all the time what is still happening in Ukraine. Like a few days ago, they had the biggest amount of missiles coming from Russia. So I'm just reposting because people tend to forget. You know, if you're not close, you will forget.
Yeah.
And I love what we are doing within our community. Back in Latvia, we gather every Friday for half an hour together with other people from Europe. We pray for Ukraine.
Wow.
Someone leads the prayer. Usually it's either, and we pray, of course, also for Russia, because there are many people who are suffering there as well because of someone's decision. We pray for the war to stop, and different week is different topic, and it's been happening since the day one or maybe the week one of the war. Like people are constantly praying. They actually pray 3 times a week, but we join just Fridays. But also like raising the awareness, praying, and as I said, prayer is such a powerful way to impart or to be part of what is happening, to send this maybe prayer power in those places, because many times it seems hopeless, there's no hope, it will never finish, people are suffering and so on. So we also pray for our friends. Maybe my husband will share, he just now in April went to Ukraine as well to encourage people there, to train also people, because many people actually are also coming back to Jesus, restoring their faith.
Of need, right?
Yes, people are getting baptized. I've seen people in army guys, like they're the chaplains who speak to them, and many people dedicate their lives to Jesus. So
we never had the opportunity to say it. We actually joined the chaplains here, and recently in Texas, it had this huge thing
flood?
going on. Yeah, huge flood, and there are a lot of chaplains at the place helping them right now, and a couple ones have been told about it. If they need, the guys are going like fly over there. But it's a huge thing to like do something about it. It's neither go there and train people, and we're probably gonna talk a little bit more on his interview, but do something. Praying, okay, but pray and do something. That's the meaning of pray. Pray and talked about it on your Instagram. I mean, use for a lot of stuff. Just use for sharing things. A single photo of it's a first minister on Ukraine and to the president. I don't remember. Well, the leader over there. If you catch a picture of him at the start of the war and now, he's completely different. Like older, a lot older. His hair is gray, and his face is like completely different because he has been to such a stress, and I think he's just a figure, okay, but he represents everyone that is there. And if he is there like this, imagine the people that are actually suffering from bombs falling into the sky, and let's say during a Sunday preaching the gospel and saying something over there, and then a bomb poof at your side. And wow, these people need help. These people need prayer. These people need awareness. Overall.
Yeah, and maybe you can put in the notes after. There's several ways how to help. Like the YWAM Youth with the Mission in Kiev, they are, I think, finishing up their bunker for people, local people also to get hide when it's the air raid sirens going on. They, of course, also need financial help if there's someone like that's a one step. There's also like very creative way. I think it's Latvians made up a website. It's not I think the name was Stopify, maybe. It's like a Spotify subscription, but you subscribe to
listen to the news over
no, to support some kind of thing, what they need, for example, drones
like
or something.
Crowdfunding?
Yeah, but it's like very creative made. It looks like this, maybe like a Netflix platform of different kind of, it looks like movie posters.
Yeah.
But you can kind of, you choose what you will subscribe to, and you just send a small part of money, like $5, I think, something.
And it's really crazy how people don't realize that $5 is a lot in a lot of countries.
Like it is.
It's a lot.
It is. And I know there are many different organizations. And this summer, we have also friends from USA who went to Ukraine to build homes for those who have lost their homes.
Yeah.
They build small, tiny houses next to the ruins of their destroyed homes. And also like that brings dignity to people, you know, that they have normal house to live.
Yeah.
Because those people, many times, they don't want to leave their country. They want to stay. That's their land, their history. Yeah, and they stayed there. And then this group of missionaries raised money to build homes, and they went to build the homes, and then they go back. Then that's also their part of using their practical gifts.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
I mean,
to see.
everyone has a talent, and they have to put that talent outside of them to actually serve the purpose. And it's a good way to do it. Anyways, I think we're here for like an hour already. So
Probably.
I'm ending for here. Thank you so much, Angelika, for being here today. And it's such a pleasure to listen to everything that you told us right now. It's such a class, actually, because we have no idea of your reality, especially from a different culture. And it's really nice to hear and to actually absorb that. Anyways, if you have anything to say to the people that are listening to you right now, it's a 1 minute time for you to talk about whatever you want to say to them. And it's probably going to be a cut after that. And we're going to put every single contact that we have on you on the description and the screen. And even the QR code that you guys give it us, we're going to put in all the time on the podcast in some place. So I really appreciate your coming here, and that's your time
My
to
pleasure.
show.
Need to think. Collect my. Okay, what I would like to say to all of you is to hold on to Jesus. Do start with yourself. Ask Jesus to transform you first, then work within your friend group. Later, maybe city will be changed, region and nation and the world. So it all starts within us. No one else will change you than you. So start with you, and then I believe the transformation can happen around you, within you, and it can spread nation-wide. And we have heard examples of people who've been faithful in small things, and then now, centuries later, we hear of transformation within countries and regions and the world. So start with yourself.
Valeu demais, meu povo. Muito obrigado. Esse foi mais um Inédita América. Nos vemos no próximo episódio com ele.